Hi Brian, I'm Hive and I'm one of the product owners here at Portainer. And I thought it would be best to walk you through the automatic team membership feature that we added, just to make sure that we're on the same understanding of how it's supposed to work. So in Okta, I basically have created an application. It's called Portainer, and in that application, I'm utilizing the client ID and the client secret. Just paste that into Portainer as per normal. I am able to utilize the domain name to populate the authorized, the token, and user info endpoints. I use the redirect URL to a local VM that I have. Then as a user identifier, I use the name because that's basically the name of the user I want to map when it returns from Okta. And for the scopes, I use OpenID because I'm using OIDC basically. The profile in OIDC means stuff like name, first name, last name. And I also use the groups scope because the groups is how Okta returns the group memberships from the Active Directory. So if I look at Okta itself, so in my directory, I have added myself. Well, I've imported it from Active Directory. So this is coming from an agent that is installed on Windows that pushed it to Okta. And this user belongs to a couple of groups. So everyone users and domain users, so I can use those three. And when I log into Okta, basically the ID token that's being returned contains my name, and the ID token itself does not contain any group information. But when I obtain the user info object, that's when these groups are actually populated in a group attribute. And then it's an array of strings to denote which groups I belong to in ID, which is indeed slightly different from the information that you've provided to us. So in your example, you use Portainer scope, and then these are your groups. And in how you define that in Portainer, so the claim name, in my case, I'm going to say it's groups because of that. In your case, it may be Portainer scope, but I would be surprised by that. So I would say groups, and then for my mapping, I am going to use everyone, for instance, because that's one of the groups that I belong to. And then I can select which team I want to belong to. If I don't add any of these mappings, then whatever this value is, and it matches a team with the same name, then they'll be added to the Portainer team. So now, if I use that, log off. So as you can see, I only have access to my Swarm account at the moment. Let's change that. Let's change the authentication, because maybe I don't have access to Swarm, but I want that to have access to my Kubernetes endpoint. Now, if I log out and log back in, then I have my Kube endpoint. So it does depend on exactly the names of these claim names and the values inside of it, as well as making sure that you use the right scopes, because that determines also what OAuth is what attributes it's going to return. But yeah, so that's at least how it's supposed to work. But feel free to reach out and let me know if you're getting stuck anyway. Thank you.